Everyone who has followed battle through the heavens knows that Xiao Yan's road to becoming the Flame Emperor was paved with countless hardships, betrayals, battles, and sacrifices. He began as a youth mocked for his wasted talent, a so-called trash in the Jiama Empire, only to rise step by step, overcoming geniuses, emperors, and ancient clans, until finally standing at the very peak of the Dou Qi Continent as its only Dou Di in 1,000 years. But here's the great mystery that has haunted countless fans and experts alike. Why, after achieving this supreme glory, did Xiao Yan abandon it all? Why did he leave behind the Dou Qi Continent, a world he had fought so hard to protect, and disappear into the vast unknown with his two wives, Xun'er and Cai Lin, without hesitation? At first glance, this act might look like a retreat, even an abandonment of responsibility. But when we look deeper into the original novel, we uncover an astonishing truth, one that ties into the greatest hidden danger of the Dou Qi Continent and the ultimate mission of every Dou Di throughout history: the forgotten history of the ancient Dou Dis. To understand Xiao Yan's decision, we must go back thousands of years to the era when the first generation of Dou Dis ruled. Back then, the Dou Qi Continent was not the peaceful land we see after Xiao Yan's reign. Instead, it was on the brink of annihilation. An unknown and terrifying enemy, the evil race from outside the territory, had descended upon the continent. Their goal was nothing less than complete destruction. Ordinary experts were helpless against them, and even the strongest of Dou Suns and Dou Shengs could not resist. Only the Dou Di stood as a barrier against their invasion. But even with their unimaginable power, the Dou Di could not exterminate the evil race. Instead, they chose to make the ultimate sacrifice, sealing the passage between the Dou Qi Continent and the Great Thousand World. This seal not only blocked the invasion, but also severed the flow of source energy into the continent. This was the hidden reason why, for 1,000 years, no one could ascend to Dou Di. The path was not lost due to talent, luck, or cultivation methods, but because the world itself had been sealed away. Every generation of experts had been striving toward an impossible goal, never knowing that their fate was already shackled by the sacrifice of their predecessors. And so, the people assumed that all Dou Di had mysteriously vanished, leaving only legends behind. In reality, they had died guarding the very foundation of the Dou Qi Continent. Xiao Yan's breakthrough and the price. When Xiao Yan finally achieved Dou Di status, he did something that no one else had done in 1,000 years. He touched upon the secret of the seal. By reopening the passage to the Great Thousand World, he allowed the flow of source energy to return to the Dou Qi Continent. This was why, after Xiao Yan's ascension, other geniuses like Xun'er, Cai Lin, and many more were able to finally break through. The era of stagnation was broken, and a new age of prosperity dawned. But this came with a terrifying consequence. The moment Xiao Yan stepped into the Dou Di realm, he realized the horrifying truth. The Dou Qi Continent was far too fragile to withstand the presence of multiple Dou Di. Think about it. Even the clash between peak Dou Shengs was enough to shake mountains, destroy sects, and obliterate regions. When two Dou Di fought, as seen in the ancient war sparked by Emperor Hun Tian, the very land of Zhongzhou crumbled, space itself shattered, and countless lives were swept away in the aftermath. Now imagine a world where more than one Dou Di roamed freely. The Dou Qi Continent would collapse under their very existence. What the ancients feared was not only the invasion of the evil race, but also the devastation of their own power. Thus, Xiao Yan faced a dilemma unlike any other. Should he stay as the supreme god of his world, risking its destruction simply by existing? Or should he abandon all titles and glory, leading the Dou Di away into the vastness of the Great Thousand World, to fight in realms strong enough to contain their battles? Xiao Yan chose the latter, without hesitation. The Flame Emperor's true mission. It's here that we truly understand Xiao Yan's heart. His journey had never been about sitting on a throne or basking in admiration. From the very beginning, his cultivation was about protection, protecting his clan, protecting his loved ones, protecting his continent. When he realized that staying as the Flame Emperor would bring only disaster, he made the ultimate decision to step away. Leaving with Xun'er and Cai Lin wasn't simply a personal choice, but a statement of duty. He entrusted the future of the Dou Qi Continent to the new generation, warriors who could now rise thanks to the restored source energy. Meanwhile, he shouldered the heavier burden, facing the vast universe, confronting the evil race once again, and continuing the mission of the ancient Dou Di. This was not abandonment, this was transcendence. The vast unknown beyond the Dou Qi Continent. In the Great Thousand World, Xiao Yan would face dangers that made the Dou Qi Continent look like a drop in the ocean. There, powers existed that could rival or even surpass the Flame Emperor. There, the evil race was not merely a lurking shadow, but an ever-present enemy waiting to devour countless planes. And it was into this brutal battlefield that Xiao Yan ascended, carrying with him not only the weight of his ancestors, but also the hope of his homeland. With Xun'er, his childhood sweetheart and the proud heiress of the Gu clan, and Cai Lin, the snake-person queen who had shared his struggles, Xiao Yan stepped forward, not as a god resting in glory, but as a warrior continuing the endless fight. The so-called disappearance of the Flame Emperor was in truth the birth of a greater legend, the legend of the 5 emperors who ascended to the sky. The legacy of Xiao Yan's departure. What Xiao Yan left behind was not despair, but inspiration. By reigniting the flow of source energy, he opened the path for countless future generations. The Dou Qi Continent, once stagnant and hopeless, now brimmed with potential. Young geniuses could once again dream of Dou Di. Clans and sects could flourish under a sky unshackled. And most importantly, the people could live without fear of annihilation, because the guardians of their world were fighting far away, keeping the flames of invasion at bay. Perhaps one day, when the cultivators of the Dou Qi Continent grow strong enough to step into the Great Thousand World, they will finally understand why the Flame Emperor vanished. They will realize that his so-called abandonment was, in truth, his greatest gift of protection. And so Xiao Yan's story reminds us of a profound truth. True strength is not about holding power, but about knowing when to let go for the sake of others. The Flame Emperor's disappearance was not an end, but the continuation of a grander journey, one that still echoes in the vast heavens. Well, this issue ends here. What do you think of Xiao Yan's ultimate decision? Was it the right path, or should he have remained as the eternal protector of the Dou Qi Continent? Feel free to leave your thoughts and join the discussion below. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and keep the flames of battle burning.